Be like water, no form is the form. These are two quotes by Bruce Lee, and I want to connect them actually to Richard Sutton's oak architecture and the idea of a self-learning agent. I think both ideas come from the uh, same direction. They go into the same direction, and that is to have an agent that is flexibly learning about its environment and actually also flexibly learning its environment. That is the water part. Water is, by definition, adapting to any kind of environment. It doesn't matter what environment you put water in, whether you put water in a confined space, whether you put water in a down a hill, or it will find its way. It will flexibly find its way. It will sometimes forge its way. It will sometimes avoid forging. Water is the ultimate flexible substance, and Bruce Lee says, be like water. And I think it's a beautiful analogy, actually, to Sutton's idea of a self-learning agent. Let's start with Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is a martial arts philosopher. That would be my best description of Bruce Lee. So he's a fighter, an actor, but also a philosopher. He wrote a lot about the life and in particular fighting. And if you take fighting sort of at a lower level of abstraction, it's an interactive game between two people. Let's leave it at two. It could be multi-agent, but let's leave it at two. And it's literally a game where you have to submit your opponent either by knocking him out or by submitting him or killing him or whatever the goal is. Let's say in Bruce Lee's case, actually, it was to avoid the fight. So either you strategize before it comes to the altercation and make sure that the fight doesn't happen, or if it happens, you make it very quick and you make it in a way that nobody gets hurt, and that can be done, let's say, with means of jiu-jitsu. I don't want to go into the fighting philosophy now. I want to keep it at the abstraction level of interactive game, where you want to be flexible. What does that mean? That means that you don't want to have predefined strategies. You don't want to a priori, you don't want to have priors. You don't want to decide that, well, if I get into a fight, I'm always going to wrestle. What you want to do is exactly what Richard Sutton is trying to do with his oak architecture. You want to learn what kind of problems might come to you, and then learn the solutions to those problems. So if a person is very big, you might want to have to maybe do something more on the sort of fast, kinetic, explosive side, because you can't let that person sit on you, take you down, control you. If, on the other hand, the person is very small but flexible and wiggly, you might want to actually use your size and control them, use your weight. So you want to use the problems that you set are flexible. You want to learn about those problems in runtime, so while you're actually fighting, and then get the solutions. That's roughly what Bruce Lee is saying. And as you can see, there's a lot of parallels to the oak architecture with the trajectories that the agent learns while in runtime space, and then finds the solution, which in the oak architecture, I think the nomenclature is options. So that's just solutions to problems that the agent found worthy to solve. So that's the combination. I think also important, no form is form. That's the analogy of having, let's say, MuZero. Jack Parker Holder in his PhD thesis talks about MuZero. Obviously Silver et al. Spoke about this in their AlphaGo Zero and MuZero paper sequences. The idea there is that the agent not just learns how to move in the environment, but also actually learns about the environment from experience. And that will be the no form is form. So you're not even putting a form. So you might fight on all fours, you might fight on your feet, you might fight in the water. It's absolutely irrelevant what environment you're in. You're going to learn in runtime what the environment looks like, what the rules of the environment are. If you fight on a steep incline, or if you fight in the cage of the UFC, the environment's different. You're not going to predefine your fighting strategy. You're not even going to predefine how you're going to act, what the rules are of the environment. Again, like whether it's a steep incline, whether it's water, whether it's a cage, the rules of the environment you're going to learn on the fly in runtime and adapt, and you're going to only learn from experience. So to summarize, be like water, and no form is the form. Those are statements by Bruce Lee as it pertains to fighting, but also to life. And I'm going to make the connection here to Richard Sutton's oak architecture and the idea of a self-learning flexible agent that learns in runtime. Thank you.